Okay, now you have to take care of that patient who you're getting paid to take care of with the COVID virus.
And what if they can't? Are they, then
If you can't,
wouldn't it be non-compliant with
well, yeah, if you
state
can't, if you're
regulations?
saying I can't take care of my patients, then fine. Then tell us you can't take care of the patients, and we'll make other accommodations.
What's the penalty for that if they can't comply?
Well, if you can't run your business, you can't run your business. Penalty is your own. It's, you're out of business.
But if people are dying because, again, the facility, it seems like a revolving door.
If you are not providing adequate care for your patients, then you're violating your license.
What about providing hotel rooms? The city has put.
Yeah, look, if they say any nursing home that calls up and says, I can't do this, we'll make other accommodations.
Governor,
We'll get there. Go ahead.
do you have a timeline on when this contact tracing will be fully operational, and any update on the timeline for the 40,000 tests and when you'll meet that goal as well?
No timeline on either. The tracing will start. It's actually starting now, but it has to be brought to a level that nobody even imagined before. So that's going to be an iterative, incremental process, right? You're starting now with what you have. We have about 500 tracers now. But build on that, hire more staff, more training. How do you do this cross-jurisdictional tracing, which doesn't happen now? The tracers have been in the old framework of I do my city, I do my county. So this is going to be all new, and we'll be ramping up. So tracing is going on. Tracing will be ramping up incrementally going forward. When do you stop ramping up? Maybe never. On the 40,000 testing, same thing. Testing is going on now. We're doing more testing than any state in the United States, more testing per capita than any country on the globe. So we're doing a phenomenal amount of tests, and we've ramped up faster than anybody else. And we'll continue to ramp up.
And do you have an estimate on cost?
Let's just do everybody once. Go ahead.
Thanks. I have a couple questions for you and one for Melissa. I don't know if you can hear, but there are protesters outside right now honking their horns and raising signs. We did speak to a few of them before we came in, and these are regular people who are not getting a paycheck. Some of them are not getting their unemployment check, and they're saying that they don't have time to wait for all of this testing, and they need to get back to work in order to feed their families. Their savings is running out. They don't have another week. They're not getting answers. So their point is the cure can't be worse than the illness itself.
Yeah.
What is your response to them?
The illness is death. What is worse than death?
Well, what if somebody commits suicide because they can't pay their bills?
Yeah, but the illness is maybe my death as opposed to your death. You said, they said, the cure is worse than the illness. The illness is death. How can the cure be worse than the illness if the illness is potential death?
But what if the economy failing
Worse than death?
equals death?
Very
For,
few,
because
no,
of mental
but it
illness,
doesn't.
the people,
No, it doesn't.
the people stuck at home.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't equal death. Economic hardship, yes, very bad, not death. Emotional stress from being locked in a house, very bad, not death. Domestic violence on the increase, very bad, not death. And not death of someone else. See, that's what we have to factor into this equation. Yeah, it's your life, do whatever you want. But you're not responsible for my life. You have a responsibility to me. It's not just about you. You have a responsibility to me, right? We started here saying it's not about me, it's about we. Get your head around the we concept. So it's not all about you. It's about me too. It's about we. Also, I get the economic hardship. Everybody gets it. Everybody feels it. Federal government is sending out a check for individuals, $600, an additional $1,200. We are moving heaven and earth to get the unemployment payments going. So we get the economic anxiety. The question is, how do you respond to it? And do you respond to it in a way that jeopardizes public health and possibly causes more people to die? And think about it as if it was your family that might get infected, right? And that's what we're talking about. And when you think about it as your family, you have a different perspective. I'll tell you the truth. It's not an abstract argument. Well, they say, he says, she says. He says, she says. I know that's how it works. Well, the protesters say this. Governor says this. Protesters say this. Governor says this. Okay, think about it as your family might be in the mix. Because when I see 484 New Yorkers die, I feel that it's like people in my family. And nothing comes before the public health risk of somebody else's life. And that's where we are.
But they're also saying, if you can't afford to pay me unemployment, or your system
You
is
will
not
be
set
paid.
up,
You will be paid
but
unemployment
they can't
from the
wait
day.
for they can't wait for the money. They're out of money.
Yeah, we're talking about a couple of days lag on the unemployment insurance, and they will get the check from the date of unemployment. It does not cost them an extra penny. Now, they can say unemployment insurance isn't enough. I get it. Even with the $600 check and the $1,200 check and the unemployment insurance benefit is not enough. I understand the economic hardship. We all feel it. The question is, what do you do about it? And do you put public health at risk? And do you drive up the number of deaths for it? Because you have no idea how to reopen now.
So they're saying that, is there a fundamental right to work if the government can't get me the money when I need it? Is there a fundamental
by the way,
right
you want to go to
to
work? Go take a job as an essential worker. Do it tomorrow. Right? You're working.
I am.
You're an essential worker. So go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of the
No, there are people
pandemic.
hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone.
Rough estimate of how many of the 250,000 people have been traced? And is the 10 million going to be enough? How much can the state afford to put toward this, if anything? Will federal funding be needed?
There's $1.3 billion available from the federal government for tracing.
So is there a rough estimate on how many?
$1.3 billion available from the federal government, which will help fund tracing for New York. Yes.
Is there a rough estimate of how many of the 250,000 people have been traced, that have tested positive, have been traced?
No.
Governor, you pointed out the nursing homes are private entities. We are hearing reports that many of the nursing home staff are not getting the proper PPE. And so the question is, who has the onus of providing the PPE?
The ownership of the nursing facility. No. No, they're not a state-run entity. That's what I'm trying to say. I know there's a thought a nursing home is run by the state. It's a wrong thought. Facts. The private entity runs it. We regulate the private entity. If the private entity is not performing their duty as they should be, then the state takes action versus the private entity. You can lose your license. You'll be out of business. If you're not providing your staff with the right equipment, you're out of business. That we can do. See, for the state, the question should be, we have been helping them with more PPE, but again, it's not our job. The question would be, why don't we put that nursing home out of business? Which is a fair question to the state. And if we have a nursing home that is violating, and that's part of what we're going to talk about tomorrow, then they should lose their license. If they can't do their job.
Hospitals, you can't PPE to hospitals.
Yeah, let's do a person.
Should families feel safe, though, putting their sick loved ones into nursing homes? But also, what about the people whose family members are not sick? Like, what if my grandma's in a nursing home, she's healthy, but she's old, she might have a pre-existing condition, and the same facility that she's living in is now accepting COVID patients, and the facility doesn't have the capacity to separate the two.
Yeah.
What
look,
happens under that
Bernadette,
state policy?
there is no state policy on, yeah, but if the question is, should I put my mother in a nursing home? Anyone who has read any of the facts or any newspaper article has to appreciate that this virus attacks people in nursing homes. It is ground zero. Our introduction was in Seattle, in a nursing home. The nursing homes are the top location where this predator feeds. It puts together vulnerable people in one location, right? When the lion is going across the plain looking for prey, here's the prey, vulnerable people in one place under one roof. That's where the predator will attack and has attacked and will continue to attack. And the predator is insidious and very good at what it does. And we've tried everything to keep it out of a nursing home, but it's virtually impossible. I believe we can reduce the rate of infection in nursing homes. But once it gets in, it is vicious. That is a fact. So if somebody says to me, should I put my mother in a nursing home now? Now is not the best time to put your mother in a nursing home. That is a fact. Let's answer someone who hasn't asked before. Go ahead. Take one more.
All government employees, and how many would you like to see in upstate New York? What departments do they work through?
We're going to have to hire many, many more tracers. The capacity is going to have to expand. It will be concentrated downstate because that's where the concentration of cases are. But it will also be employed in upstate New York. Will be a statewide, again, coordinated on a tri-state basis. But it will be proportionate to where the cases are. And when we see a cluster and an outbreak, quote unquote, hot spot, then one of the strategies is send testers, tracers, isolate. That's how you reduce the spread in that hotspot. Let's do one more. Somebody who hasn't asked one.
Nursing homes that are having issues gathering PPEs. It's also volunteer firefighters, some EMTs. Is there some sort of stockpile that the state can draw from?
Whatever we have, we distribute. And then we ask the federal government for assistance. They've been sending us what they have and what they can get. But one of the lessons learned from this is, as soon as we get our head above water, this is madness that we have to buy gowns and masks from China. And we're wholly dependent on China for masks, gowns, gloves, ventilators. Everything came back to China. That all has to change. And look, it's an opportunity for this state, other states too, but we have to be able to make this equipment right here and be able to turn up the volume when something like this happens. It's been right across the board. We can't get masks, can't get gowns, can't get ventilators, vials, reagents. The entire supply chain has to be brought back to this country, period. I meant you in the back, I'm sorry.
So two questions, actually. I haven't seen an updated figure in a while about what is the estimate on what the state has spent to combat COVID-19 to date. Also, I wanted to know about antibody testing. Are there people who are being tested since they're asymptomatic? So many asymptomatic people, are they being given an antibody test? How is that working?
Do we antibody test asymptomatic people? Yes, it's a random sample. I'm sorry. I should have known that answer. It doesn't do symptomatic, asymptomatic. If Karen was in a grocery store and anybody who walks up to the counter, they will test. So it's not symptomatic, asymptomatic. It's
If symptomatic, you wouldn't be giving the antibody test at that point, right?
Oh, if you were symptomatic, you don't get the antibody test.
Regular test.
Cost of what?
To date, updated to date what the state has spent to combat that?
What's the updated spend to date on COVID?
It's approximately $2.8 billion, about half of that is in New York City.
And what do you estimate the tracing program will cost?
I don't know.
Tens
Or
of
whatever.
millions?
I don't know. The federal government has provided money in this past budget, but whatever it costs, you know. What's the value of a life, Jesse?
Regarding nursing homes, it seems as though the wild card is the nurses, the staff, when they go out in the world and then they come back in. Can the regulation from the health department, you know, can there be some regulation to ensure that the nursing homes are doing better in terms of whether taking a temperature or doing something with staff to make sure that they don't bring this into the nursing?
We have done regulations on that, and we'll have more to say on that tomorrow. I don't want to give away tomorrow's news because then you won't come. Thank you, guys.
Should nursing homes be fined for not having adequate reporting?